What's up and welcome to SMA Marketing. In this video, we're going to be looking at structured data and how it applies to today's world of AI-driven search. So as we talked about before on this channel, structured data is extremely important when it comes to helping those search engine crawlers better understand the content as well as the context of our site. And as we dive deeper into Google's API, we can actually learn quite a bit from it about how Google handles structured data and some of the information that can help you make your site even more visible in the search results. So what is structured data? Well, structured data comes in a variety of organized formats. The most common type that we're using online is something called Schema.org. This allows the search engines to better understand the different concepts that we have on our web pages. Why does it matter? Well, Google uses this information in order to create things like rich results as well as rich features. It helps it to enable our site for better understanding when it's processing things like entities so that Google knows the context of what we're actually speaking about. So what role does structured data play in SEO? Well, the first thing it does is that it can actually improve the relevance of specific queries. When you're using things like an entity for, let's say, Jaguar, and you're talking about an animal instead of a car, and you add that entity into that piece of content, that creates a semantic understanding where Google knows you're talking about a cat and not a vehicle. And that can play very big roles when we're talking about understanding. So if you just do a broad query on Jaguar, you're probably going to see a number of different options, unless you're a car aficionado, and then Google's going to personalize those results. Or maybe you're somebody who's really into jungles, then you're going to see things maybe more along the lines of the cats. But if Google doesn't know a lot about you, having that entity within the page is going to help better understand what your specific content is about so that it serves your content to the right audience. The search engine is trying its best to understand and interpret the content in the way it believes the user is trying to interpret that content. Intent is a big deal and it plays a massive role in this process. Structured data can help improve Google's understanding of intent. Some of the things that we found out through this API documentation was that Google allows structured data to play a lot more of a significant role than they may have led on in the past. We don't know exactly how much or the different frequencies of these things and how they are factored in, but we can see within this leaked documentation that structured data plays a very big role when it comes to the ranking process. Again, it's allowing them to understand content faster, allows it to serve it more accurately to the end user, and because Google's so concerned with intent, this is why structured data is such a big deal. So how does Google use structured data? That's what we want to understand first. Well, first thing it's doing is looking at GeoStore attachment data management. It's looking at how it handles different geographic features, understanding where the user is in the space and what that user is doing on their customer journey. Google also uses it for things like rich features as well as page metadata. It can inform Google about the different websites and the information on those sites, but it can also take that information and use it to display rich features. Google uses it for document annotations as well as other signals. This helps for better indexing as well as search relevance. So again, structured data is playing a very big role in them understanding the content, leveraging that content, indexing it so it gets it to the right user at the right time. Google's looking at things like device, it's looking at location data. This can all be stored within structured data, structured information where they can pull from that end user and then change the search results based on that information. Google uses it for calendars as well as media data. So events, think of like multimedia pieces of content. It's using it for shopping and merch data, which we see even more and more, especially in the e-commerce side. Google kind of changing their display results to look more like a shopping list or a shopping site than really a search engine result. But then they also use structured data in handling sensitive data with privacy concerns with different types of restrictions within that data. So what can we do as SEOs? What can we do as website owners to make sure that our site is being optimized in the right way? Well, the first thing we can do is focus on schema markup. We need to understand Schema.org and how to leverage it appropriately. There's a lot of plugins out there that you kind of just plug it in, you hit a button and it adds schema to your website. The problem is if you're not thinking through this process, you're going to get a lot of information that really may not be beneficial to your site. You need to have the right structured data. Having it on there doesn't matter if it's not right, if it's not sending you the right information. Using things like articles in the right place, products on product pages, Q&A where it makes sense, event where it makes sense. Make sure that you're using these things to classify and help the search engines better understand your content. If you're just putting them on there and you're really not thinking through it, you may want to think again because you could add some confusion to the process. You need to do regular audits. You need to do regular updates. A lot of people, when I talk to them, they think, well, schema.org is a one-time thing. Go ahead, put it on my site, and we'll be good to go. The reality is that's not actually how it works. You need to make sure that you're taking this information from things like schema.org and adding new aspects into it as time goes along. You're going to have new things that Google's going to require for rich features. You're going to have things that you can update to add more information. None of this stuff should be static. It should be something that we're constantly evolving and testing new areas with. You can also extend your usage. If you're a recipe site, use recipes. If you're using video, add videos, add in reviews. When you're using local business, make sure that you're adding in those appropriate levels of local business. It's not just local business in general. Google has looks at those subclasses as well, which you can see in the schema.org documentation. This helps you really stand out within the search results and help Google better understand your business. And again, always be monitoring for new types of structured data. There's always new things going on, new things coming out. You need to make sure that you're staying on top of things so you're not missing things as they go through these iterations over time. It's very hard to stay on top of these things. Like I know I've got a course that teaches on structured data, and honestly, I haven't had time to even update it because things are moving so fast. So that's why I really like coming here on YouTube and some of these other platforms to share this information, because I can get it to you in real time because these things are changing so quickly. Another thing you want to do is monitor for impressions in CTR. Are the different attributes that you're earning, are the different rich features that you're earning driving traffic? Are they getting clicks? And if they're not, what are the adjustments you need to make to improve that? Make sure that you're being timely and relevant when you're adding this information to your site. Continually enhance that content site, updating that structured data, updating when you've updated an article using structured data. There's so many different ways that you can engage in your site to help the AI better understand what it is that you're doing. So what are some key takeaways? First, structured data, it's critical for content understanding, presentation, and ranking. It can enhance your relevance, it can enhance visibility, it can improve indexing, and user engagement. You need to prioritize accurate structured data and regularly update it. That way you're staying on top of things and making sure that your site is optimized for SEO in today's world. If you have any questions about something maybe we covered in this video, some of the past videos, please comment below. We'd love to continue to have that conversation with you. If you're interested in learning more, maybe about that course where I show you how to write JSON LD, you can also check that out at simplifiedsearch.net. And as always, until next time, happy marketing.